Hi, welcome to Breaking Ground, your window on agriculture in Newfoundland and Labrador. I'm your host, Roger Monder. This week, we are off to visit dairy farmer Crosby Williams. At one time, the farm also grew vegetables, but as the second generation took over, the decision was taken to concentrate on the dairy side of things. Technology played a big part in that decision and still plays a big part in that decision today. Computerized milking systems, advanced farming machinery, and many more innovations have made life on the farm more economical and manageable. More and more organic produce can be found on our supermarket shelves. This province has been blessed with natural fertilizers that can make this province a larger player in the local organic food market. Visiting organic farmer Rupert Ganish sees a lot of pluses for organic farming in this area, and being a descendant of the Moravians of Labrador, he can make a strong case for organic farming happening anywhere in this province. And Kitty Drake is back in Ann Budgell's kitchen to show us how to make chutney. Chutneys are easy to make, and in this province we have a lot of natural ingredients to make the best that can be had. And when we come back, we're off to Crosby Williams Dairy Farm. Crosby Williams Farm is very successful. We'll let him tell you why.
A lot of farmers say, oh, I don't want my kids to farm. Well, you know what I do? I'd like to see my daughter farm. I'd like to see my brother's daughters farm as well. I encourage them to get into agriculture because agriculture is a positive industry.
Dairy farmer Crosby Williams of the Goulds obviously has a lot of confidence in the future of agriculture in this province. And as he should, because it wasn't always like that.
No, it was an industry that struggled, to be honest with you. There was a time here in Newfoundland, it wasn't so long ago, in the late 60s and early 70s, farmers didn't know if the milk they produced could be sold. And a lot of farmers dumped milk. My dad did that for years. He dumped his milk in the Waterford River. And so the industry has definitely changed, and I gotta say, for the better.
The dairy farmers of Newfoundland and Labrador are a model for dairy farmers right across the country. One of the biggest dairy farms in Canada is on the west coast of Newfoundland, with well over 2,300 cows. One reason is that the dairy farmers get a guaranteed price for their milk. It's based on a supply management system.
Well, yes, I mean, our industry is a good, strong financial industry. The financial institutions are quick and I'll say eager to lend money to the dairy industry because our industry is predictable. We know where our price is, we know what our profitability can be with good management, and I guess that's why it's there. Supply management brings that to the dairy industry, to the feather industries, and generally speaking, if you look at supply managed industries, they're the more successful ones.
Technology has played a big role in that success. Take, for example, this baling system that was in place on Pondview Farms just 2 years ago. It was cumbersome, labor-intensive, and time-consuming. This recent $80,000 purchase of a sophisticated Irish baler only highlights the health of the industry because of its faith in technology.
Technology has given us the edge, the financial edge we need to keep ahead in this industry. With skyrocketing costs and stuff, the only thing that's going to keep you ahead is technology. And we've taken in any technology we can to make our farm more labor efficient. And you know, we've embraced new technology in our dairy equipment, in our equipment to manage the ground in terms of rock picking, rock removal. Hay production, we got a new baler that's, well, quite simply state-of-the-art. It's that sort of technology that enables you to stay ahead in an industry where every single facet of milk production is going up.
And that technology also includes the upgrading of existing facilities and milking equipment.
When I took over the farm in '99, we were in a tie stall and we milked 110 cows that way, and it was quite difficult. And in 2004, we made the decision to build this new facility here, this new freestall barn. It houses 250 cows, and we started construction in early 2005, and we were in there that fall, and we never looked back. It's in the history of our farm, I'd say it's probably the best thing we ever did, really.
Come on, girl. Step, baby. Go on. There you go.
There's no doubt that there's a strong sense of pride in where the industry now stands. But there's always the future to be concerned about.
The characteristics of dairy industry in this province is that it's a dynamic group of people that work hard. We're a very progressive industry, probably most progressive in the country. Our uptake of technology has been swift over the last couple of years, over the last 10 years really. We operate in clean, efficient facilities, and you know, I got to say, our industry is going forward. We've just recently we've taken in a lot of industrial milk production now, and the farmers have embraced this because we know in the future it's going to be good for our industry. We're producing an awful lot of ice cream in this province now. We're right on the cusp of opening up a cheese plant here. It's probably going to take, if not all, close to most of the industrial milk production in this province.
There was a time when almost all of the industrial milk quota was shipped out of the province. Well, no longer. And who knows what other opportunities can arise with further secondary processing in the province.
On a later show, we will show you how a highly successful dairy industry has created hundreds of secondary processing jobs that produce butters and cheeses and ice cream that is exported to almost 30 countries around the world. Now we're off to a commercial break. See you in 2. You would think that Newfoundland and Labrador would be a good candidate for organic farming. Well, if you did, you wouldn't be the only one. Let's have a look.
Well, I'm here as the Organic Transition Specialist with a group called ACORN, which is the Atlantic Canadian Organic Regional Network.
A Newfoundlander once said, "We're so far behind, we're ahead." In many respects, that statement may be true when it comes to organics, because it was not so long ago many farmers used kelp, capelin, and peat to fertilize their gardens and farms. What is Rupert Yanich's view of Newfoundland and Labrador from an organic perspective?
You know, the first thing that strikes someone like me coming over here is, yes, your season is a lot shorter, and that's, you know, a challenge for any type of production. But you have a number of advantages here. One is, I'm told, there's no Colorado potato beetle. There's a number of diseases that infect the honeybees that you don't have here yet. And I think there's a range of other pests and diseases that perhaps because of the shorter season, you know, aren't as big a problem here. Also, depending where you are in the province, perhaps here on the East Coast you don't have as much soil to work with, but you have a lot of materials that you can make soil with. You have peat, you have seaweed, you have fish wastes and capelin, so there's actually a lot that you can work with to help build up soils, and particularly soils that will be very beneficial to organic systems.
He also makes note of another very important point.
Some people tell me that, you know, well, we're behind here in Newfoundland, and a lot of the pesticides and things that you can use on the mainland, they're not here yet. And I think that's very only goes to show that yes, we're not that far from farming organically here, which they did 20 years ago or more. And even I would say that my own ancestors, which were the Moravian missionaries up in Labrador, they were farming up there and growing vegetables, and that was all very organic.
Growing organically in this province is in the early stages, but there are interesting organic initiatives, such as Krista Williams in Bay Bulls, who's growing vegetables in a peat bog. Stan Tobin of Ship Cove is trying his hand at organic beef. And Melba and Mike Rabinowitz in Portugal Cove have been very successful at organic farming for years. And surprisingly, Glenda Baker of Gambo has been growing winery grapes outdoors pesticide-free for over 5 years now. And as we all know, many people in Newfoundland grow their own vegetables. But it's the growing of unusual vegetables and plants that may signal a niche market that can be developed. Bala Murthy, a vegetarian who lives in St. John's, grows much of her own food. It's the type of food she grows that warrants a second look, simply because many people never thought it could be grown here.
The eggplants and hot peppers and some Indian spinach, and we call it, there are different Indian names to it. It's really difficult to say them in English, so I always say them Indian spinach. It's a very sour leaf. There is no name in English for it. The leaf is really sour. It's a lemony taste. So you use it in stews or soups, and all that. Same thing, shorter season. So, CD Trees built me this greenhouse. With this greenhouse, I was able to grow most of them, but I still like to have more space to grow more stuff. But my eggplants and my hot peppers I got a bumper crop of both of them.
So how will organic farming stack up against a non-organic system that's very much a part of our everyday lives?
Our food system is so entrenched in the conventional model. It's going to take a long time to change it. I don't scratch my head so much, and I sometimes get impatient and wish that the change would take place faster. But I think it's going to happen. I think right now the interest on the part of the Canadian Cancer Institute in the effect of pesticides on human health is quite intense, and it's actually quite remarkable that it's being publicized to such an extent, and I think that's going to help drive the process in good time.
Who knows? There may be a time we'll look at present-day practices and wonder why we never went organically even faster.
A good example of building on your strengths. Next up is Chef Kitty Drake. I'm going to let Ann Budgell explain what's happening in the kitchen.
We've got an idea for something you can do with all those berries you picked last season, and it's not jam. We're going to make some chutney.
Now we're off to the kitchen where Ann and Kitty are making chutney.
Hi everybody, I'm Ann Budgell. Welcome to my kitchen. Kitty Drake is here with me today, and she is a chef and a food consultant. And what are you grinning about?
Well, this is a first time for me, and I'm doing it on TV. And
Oh, well, we have to tell everybody what you're at. Does anybody know what this is? We're going to pit a mango.
Yes, this is apparently this is wonderful.
You just hang on one second, Kitty.
Okay.
We're making chutney today. I want to tell everybody what we're up to. And we're going to be using a variety of berries that are grown wild and domestic berries here in Newfoundland and Labrador. But a lot of the chutney recipes are in combination with things like mango.
Absolutely.
And other fruits that you can buy, frozen, dried, canned, whatever. But I insisted that Kitty use this thing. She gave me this kitchen gadget.
And you've never used it.
I tried once, I think.
I don't even own it. So here we go.
You go.
Apparently, all you do is press down, and the seed comes out. No sweat.
Perfect.
What do you think of that? Okay. Is that good? That'll teach you. Okay, Ann.
Well, we've got a bowl with some thawed out frozen partridge berries here.
on.
Kitty's going to be peeling and dicing that mango right now.
I think they better get a thing that also peels it.
Okay. And the recipe, by the way, that we're going to talk about today is one that you can make in the microwave. It's real easy to do in the microwave. But you can cook it on the top of the stove too. So Kitty's already chopped up some red pepper, which I'm going to throw in there.
And red onion.
And red onion.
And I want you to know we have no recipe for this.
Okay.
We're just doing it by sight.
We're improvising.
Feel. This is total sight and feel. Okay, stir them up. Now over here, you're going to have to reach around me while I do this because you're just a bit too quick.
Okay. What am I reaching for?
In there I have some ginger, fresh ginger root, which I keep whenever I have
Excuse me, Kitty, I'm just going to get this sugar too.
Okay, so put about what do you think, a tablespoon of ginger in there?
All right.
or a teaspoon, yeah, tablespoon.
Okay.
We like fresh
Now
ginger.
you've got the ginger in some vinegar here, have you?
Right, but drain it. I just keep it that way because every time I buy ginger, I use a little bit and then I have it all left over.
Okay.
And you can freeze it, but I just put it in the fridge with a little bit of vinegar to cover it.
Well, if people don't have fresh ginger, and you know what, it's not always available in every single supermarket, you could put in the dried, I suppose.
Well, you could. The only thing is fresh ginger has a bit of a bite to it. So if you use the dry, maybe stick a little bit of cayenne or something in it
Okay.
to give it that heat.
Now, should I throw in a little sugar?
Yeah.
How much?
What do you think? A couple tablespoons?
All right. Again, we're improvising here, so
We certainly are.
this is my
But it's almost foolproof. Okay, now I've got some turmeric, to make it a little bit more yellow if we want. And I have ginger, and I also have cloves.
Okay.
So, I would go light on the cloves, personally. But you can just put 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves, I would.
Every recipe that you make goes light on cloves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cloves is something you go light on. Okay, tiny bit of clove.
And some ginger, just to give it that other
How much?
flavor.
You're leaving it up to me?
Half a teaspoon, yeah, or leave it up to you. I leave it up to you. And then some
Would you
the
pass
turmeric.
the turmeric? Oh, all right. With her mango hands.
Right on.
How much turmeric?
Yeah,
That much?
that looks good. Now
See,
that's
anybody can cook, really.
absolutely. It's just fun.
And how much vinegar are we going to use now, Kit?
Well, that's a fair amount. I'd put at least 3 tablespoons, wouldn't you?
Okay.
That's a lot of chutney. We might even want 4.
You say.
How much sugar did you put in, Ann?
Oh, perhaps 2 good fat tablespoons.
Okay, well, I'd go for 4.
3,
Yep.
4.
Okay. Now, believe it or not, this is going to be delicious chutney. This goes in the microwave, uncovered.
Don't cover it.
Don't cover. And these chutneys in the microwave, it depends on what berries you use. They can take anywhere from 7 minutes to 27 minutes. This one will take a while because partridge berries have so much liquid. I would say we're going to be looking at close to 20 minutes. But put it in for 10 and then take it out, stir it up, and put it in again and just sort of play until you get it to be a jam, a nice jam.
This is what it's going to look like. This kind of mixture is what it will look like
Yes.
when you're done. You want it to have that thickness to it, right?
Yes.
And what's this combination, Kitty?
That is a partridge berry apple.
Okay. I'm going to have a little taste of this one.
What do you think? What do you think it would go with? People need to think about what
Meats.
meat. Yes, pork, caribou,
Yum, yum.
yum yum.
Turkey, be good with turkey.
Oh, fabulous! A
Fowl.
turkey sandwich instead of mayonnaise. Turkey sandwich.
Partridge, duck.
One duck. Yep. Oh
Good
yeah.
with duck. This is as black as anything. Look how rich that is and reflective.
That is a blueberry lime chutney. So I have blueberries, and then I took half a lime and I made it paper thin. You can see in there little strands of lime, and I put in a hot little red hot pepper. And what do you think that would go with?
Oh, wow. Lovely with some fish, maybe.
Salmon, maybe scallops.
Scallops would be gorgeous.
Yeah, I think seafood.
I don't know what else. I mean, I like to eat it all by itself. I put that on ice cream, actually. Wouldn't you put that on ice cream?
Well, I knew a man who used to put chutney on toast in the morning.
What do we got here?
And that is gooseberry.
Just gooseberry with onions. And
Yes,
ginger
onions
and-
and peppers. And, Yeah, yum.
That's potent.
yeah, potent.
That is very potent.
That is very potent.
What would you do with that one?
Well, I would go with the heavy meats again. You know, I would think about your very rich meats.
You can make a sandwich if you had some really good homemade bread and some sliced baked ham and put that on it.
Or some nice rye bread and slices of cold pork.
Oh, gorgeous.
That would be lovely.
Oh, gorgeous. Okay, we just wanted to make people think about some different things to do with all those berries that I know you've got. And, you know, it's so, and all the other ingredients you probably got too, right? Sugar,
Yes, and vinegar. That's all you need. You can even put cider vinegar instead of white vinegar in some of them, like the apple one. I actually, because it was apple, I used the apple cider vinegar. And when I think of Newfoundland, I think of berries.
And you know, Kitty, I should mention that I found some really good frozen mango in the supermarket.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you can incorporate mango too.
And I should also say I have also used dried mango,
Yeah.
which is fabulous, and it helps soak up the partridge berry juice.
All right, well, I think we've given people some food for thought there, and I thank you so much, Kitty.
You're welcome.
Thanks. That's it on chutneys this afternoon. Thanks, everyone.
There's nothing like a chutney to spice up a dish. Next week, we're going to have a look at horticulture and landscaping and see the role it plays in our agricultural industry. Jeanette French and Mark Bowring have seen a dramatic change in attitude towards horticulture and landscaping in this province. A lot of people now look at their backyard as another room to be added to their home. Unusual landscape features and exotic plants are becoming a natural but permanent characteristic of many provincial gardens nowadays. The growing of corn for animal feed is very much a reality on most dairy farms in this province. Well, it wasn't always like that. 10 years ago, the mantra was, it can't be grown here. Well, with the combination of science, determination, and innovation, the story of how corn has become a staple crop in this province is one that will fascinate you. And of course, our friends Ann Budgell and Kitty Drake are back in the kitchen. Next week, Kitty is going to show us how to prepare a meal of duck. And as usual, she will spin her magic with a unique approach to a standard dish. Well, I'm pretty certain we'll see you again next week. I'm your host, Roger Monder. We'll see you then.